Morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here, coming to you from the Beehive. Today is Casing Tuesday, the day that we take a card out of the catalog and we copy it. And not only do we copy it, we have a whole Facebook group where everyone else can copy the card, or you can see where everyone else copies their card. You can go in there and lurk and have a look and see what everyone else is doing. Today's card is out of the annual catalog, and it is a great card because it's really easy. And so, you know, some of the cards that we choose have a lot of layers or a lot of embellishments on them, but this card today is a nice, easy layout, and it works particularly well if you have designer series paper that you want to use up, or if you have really pretty designer series paper and you want to show it. So it's a great card, a great layout for that. And my downline Catalina, who we do this Casing Tuesday together, she did a card today where she made her own designer series paper, which I thought was kind of clever because you can take a piece of paper and you can stamp all over it and create your own background paper. So if you need to match up ribbon or whatever, you can really customize it. So you can take the easy road like I did and use designer series paper, or you can be like Catalina, and she really created a masterpiece in stamping her own quasi designer series paper. So that was kind of cool. And so I love it how when I see what everyone else does, I get inspired, and it's kind of neat to see what people will do with with the layout, because there's different ways to approach it. So I'm going to turn my camera around and I'm going to show you today's card, and I'll show you what I did. And then I kind of went wild because it was easy, so I did a whole bunch of different cards with it. So let me turn it around and I will show you what I did. Just a second. Let me find my turnaround button. All right, we're turned around, and let me move my camera. Close your eyes. You get motion sick. Whoa. Okay, I just kind of dropped my camera. Not quite, it was on the stand. All right, so today's card is right here on page 80 of the annual catalog, and it just has this beautiful Delightful Daisy designer series paper in the background, and then this is a stamp right here, a happy birthday stamp, and it is a large stamp, which I do not have. You might think that I own every single stamp in the catalog, but I don't. There are a lot of stamps in the catalog, and I wouldn't have enough time to stamp with them all before they retired, so I try and pick and choose my favorites. But this is a really nice stamp, actually, for a big happy birthday. But so the main thing I had to decide was, what was I going to do with this greeting area, and how was I going to translate that to my card since I didn't have that stamp. I do really love the Delightful Daisy designer series paper, so I did decide to use that. And I actually do have this beautiful ombre ribbon, but I wanted to do something a little different. So I took, these are the cards I made for my blog post. So I took Whisper White card base. I use the thick Whisper White because it's more substantial than the regular Whisper White. And I just took a swatch of the designer series paper. And this top card is actually my favorite card because I love these big daisies. And then I just used some Old Olive mini chevron ribbon to tie on the side, and the pretty label punch, and I stamped thank you in Old Olive. So for 3 of those patterns of the paper, that was a really good look for it, like a Whisper White card base, Old Olive. It looked really good for all 3 cards. So I kind of kept that the same. And if you look at my supply list for this grouping of cards, there are not too many supplies, so I really like that. You know, you can get a lot of mileage out of the designer series paper and 1 roll of ribbon and the pretty label punch and 1 color of ink. So I love that that idea that you can do that. Let me find a spot to put this. Okay. All right. So then the card in the catalog, let me grab that. The card in the catalog had, I think they used a pool party base, and I decided I would kind of mimic that, but I did soft sky because I had this soft sky classic weave ribbon, and it gives it just a little softer look than this Calypso Coral Ombre ribbon, and it's just like really soft and sweet. There's another designer series paper that is a pattern that is the same in the same pack. So today I'm going to use that paper to show you how to make the card. And then I have one more sample that I want to show you that you can do with the last pattern of paper. Now this paper has like kind of a neutral pattern side and then a pretty flower side. So I chose all the flower sides. So, you know, you could use a more neutral pattern, but I like the flowers. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Before I do that, good morning, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for popping in here. So for the card that I made, it's pretty simple. So I start off with a card base, and my card base is 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it at the 4 1/4 inch mark. Then I folded it. For my designer series paper, all the paper pieces that I use for all the cards are 3 inches by 5.5 inches. Doesn't get any easier than that. Today I'm going to use snail because it's nice and light for nice light paper. So I'll just put, let me flip this open. I will put snail in each of those 4 corners. And then I'm putting my paper down about 1/4 inch from the edge. My folded edge is right here and my open edge is right there. Then I've got a 16-inch piece of the classic weave ribbon, and I'm just going to slide this inside my card. And the one thing you want to make sure with your ribbon is that you haven't twisted it on the inside, because you go through all the trouble of making that knot and then you realize it's twisted on the inside. That kind of sucks. So you don't want to do that. I like to have my knot at the bottom, so I'm just kind of bringing the ends over so they cross over here. If it's easier for you, you can tie the knot in the middle and then slide it down afterwards. You can do that too. I just kind of go generally to the place where I'm going to put my knot and just kind of hang it in there. So when I'm tying this particular knot, like, you know, some people are really good at tying bows and knots and things like that, and some people struggle with it. So I'm going to show you how I did mine. I'm just going to cross over my pieces of ribbon and I'm going to do a knot. And the hardest thing is to do that second knot without having this thing come loose. So I use locking tweezers, and I got these at a craft store in the beading department. And I just use those to lock down that knot, and I might just tighten it a little bit and it still holds it. Now I'm going to swing my card over to this side, and then I'm going to bring my bottom piece of ribbon over, and then I'm going to slip it through. And so you can see as I'm bringing this ribbon through, this piece right here crossing up is going to be the knot. So I'm bringing this one through, and I might tug over that piece that's looping over the top, over top a little bit more, so it creates kind of a nicer looking knot. You know, if you pull both of them, both the ends together at the same time, sometimes it just kind of all crinkles together. So I'm just kind of playing with my knot a little bit so that it looks a little nicer. Now I can release my locking tweezers, right? And then it's nice and snug and flat, okay? And then I'm going to come in and I'm just going to angle cut my ends off like that. So that's how I got my knot looking nice. If you want to shift your knot, you can always just, I pick it up and then I kind of just shift it along its card base. You know, if you want to move it up and down to the right spot. Just going to tuck this over a little bit so it's flat on the edge of my paper. And then I need a greeting. Now, this card could just be given just like this. I mean, the paper is that pretty that it can hold its own, and you can stamp the greeting just on the inside. But since there was a greeting on the front of the card, I kind of wanted to do a greeting on my card too. So then I just will take a piece of Whisper White, and I'm going to take my Soft Sky ink pad because I'm going to use the same color as my ribbon. It just kind of, it makes it look nice. So I'm going to open that up, and here's a little trick. So this stamp set I'm using is the Daisy Delight stamp set, and it's got this thank you, and it is a vertical greeting. Okay, so that means on the it comes together, thank you, all together in one line. Well, sometimes, you know, if I want to stick this inside a punch, I want to take it and I want to have it up and down. So I actually took my scissors and I cut in between the thank you. And I know some people will say, you can't cut through stamps. You know what? It doesn't hurt them. If there's enough room, you can cut between them, and then you can still piece them back together in the exact same spot once they're on the block. So to me, it's not a big deal. The one thing I had to do a little bit more than just cut through it, I had to trim. Oh, I think I just stuck that right in my Soft Sky ink pad. Let me wipe that off. Okay, so the one thing I did a little bit different is I actually trimmed under my thank and above my U so that I could get them together a little closer so they would fit in my label punch a little better. So I did do a little bit of trimming, but they still fit back together. You can see this little cut line here. That will match with this cut line. So down the road, it will look exactly the same as someone else's who didn't cut theirs apart. But now I've got a more versatile stamp, right? So I just take this, ink it up, make sure I get it inky because Soft Sky is really light, and then stamp it. And then I'm going to take my pretty label punch, stick it in here. I need to look not through the camera while I'm centering it because the camera is too small. And then I just punch it. And so now it will fit down here. And I'm going to use some snail on this as well. It's a fairly light piece. Or you could pop it up with dimensionals. But I just kept it really simple. And I did it about maybe a little bit less than a 1/4 inch from the side of the paper and from the bottom. And there's that card. And it looks very similar to this card because the pattern of paper is really similar. So that's, you know, just a slight difference. And I used a Soft Sky card base for those. Then, if you remember, I don't know if you follow my blog or not, but I had, okay, let me get these right. This one and this one. These were my cards from Minute Monday, and they used the Designer Series paper. You can kind of see how I mimicked the Casing Tuesday card even on a note card, but I added this big daisy on it. So if I wanted to make the 6th card with the 6th pattern of flower paper from that bunch, this one right here, how would I do that? Like, what colors would I choose? Because this paper is kind of the outlier in terms of colors. The other ones, you know, I could do, with these guys, I could do Soft Sky and the Soft Sky ribbon. With these ones, Whisper White card base with the old olive ribbon, right? But what will I do with this last paper? So I've got this piece of paper. I could go, you know, with a white base, right? I didn't think the green ribbon would look that great because there's no green in this one. I suppose I could fudge it and do green. But so what would I do? Like if I wanted to take colors right out of the paper. So I could do the Whisper White card base. and I could do like this Whisper White Classic weave. It's in the same grouping as the Soft Sky weave. This mini chevron ribbon is a little different, but it's the same width, so they kind of look nice as a card set. And then I could do my thank you in Night of Navy. And so that card would look kind of cool, right? But if I wanted it to pop a little bit more, I could, now this one would look nicer with this set, but if I wanted it as a standalone card, I could do a Daffodil Delight card base. And then it's got a different energy to it, doesn't it? Because we've got a lot more of that yellow coming through. So you could do it with the yellow, and it's like a happier card when you add the yellow in there. More sedate if you use the white, or, you know, a little bit more energy if you use the Daffodil Delight. So, you know, that's the option that I would do for this 6th card for the group. So when you're doing easy cards, I feel like do a few more because, you know, they're so easy. So those are my choices that I would use for those cards. So it's pretty simple. Is there anything I wanted to tell you about my cards? Well, one thing, this Daisy Delight stamp set comes with the Daisy Punch if you buy it as a bundle. And so many people love this right for the beginning. It actually sold out before it made it into the catalog, and it was put on a really long back order. So this has been a really popular set. Right now it's in stock, so that's great. And it's available as a bundle, or you can buy them separately. But when you buy them as a bundle, you save 10%. So I just wanted to mention that to you. In case you're interested in this set, you might want to go ahead and get the punch because it's a better value when you get them both together. And you're going to want the daisy punch so that you can create the pretty daisies, because it has the stamp that matches the punch, and so you can see the detailing on that daisy, and it just makes it so pretty. And there's so many pretty samples with the daisy out there. Just go to Pinterest and put in Stampin' Up! Daisy Punch, and you'll see all the different things people have made with this daisy punch. So it is a really great bundle. So let me turn you guys around again. All right. Okay, I'm back here. So if you have no clue what I'm talking about when I say Casing Tuesday Facebook group, please go in the description of my video and have a look at it. You can click right on the link, and it will take you to our group. You have to be approved, but it's like just really easy. Just say you want to be part of the group, and then you can be in our group, and you can see all the things that other people have done with the same layout. It's kind of neat because we get to share. If you want more information on the cards that I made today, the products, there's also a link to my blog post where I list all my supplies that I used. And what else do I need to tell you? Oh, and the measurements are on there too. So, you know, if you forgot what measurements I use, how long was the ribbon I used, go on my blog, and I have a little box that has all the measurements and everything on there. So I'm going to just scroll up a little bit and see if there's any questions. If you ever have a question for me on my videos, just if my video is no longer live, just go ahead and post down at the bottom, and I will try and answer them in the comments. And I'm just going to do a quick check to see if anyone asked anything. I see a lot of good morning, so I'll say, if you didn't catch my first good morning to everyone that joined me. Oh, Janie said she's casing her card right now, so I'll look forward to seeing your card later on. Yay. All right. Well, oh, and Mary Kay says it's raining in Maryland. Well, I'm sorry it's raining today. I really feel bad for everyone in Houston. It's awful to see all of those photos and stuff of people trapped and And my heart goes out to all of those people, and I really hope that that storm does not come back and hit them again. That's just awful. And I hope and pray everyone's okay down there. And I hope everyone has sunshine soon, and I hope you have a great week. And check out our Casing Tuesday Facebook group, and we will see you back here next week when I'll do another Facebook Live every Tuesday morning. I'll do my Casing Tuesday card right here on Facebook. All right, bye everyone. Have a great day.